Didn't happen in 49, 61, 63 or 69 when they reached the final. But the class of 2021 have delivered. Leicester City are FA Cup winners at last and are history makers at Wembley.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open.
For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise,
visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website.
They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away in truth. Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Right, Chris.
All right there, all right the back. How we doing? Well, it seems a bit dark in here. Is it just me? Maybe because I'm wearing white. That the back it does look a bit dark, but I've got all my lights on. Don't know what it is. Excuse me. I was just honestly no wonder I am having to reorder all the old shirts, the retro shirts again in larger sizes, because I'm just my tea between that to fit in between the two shows was very quick and basically sweets and chocolate. I've just had a whisper. I'm eating a whisper at the moment, but hey, don't tell anybody. We're going to be joined by Steve and Brad, and we're going to be looking at this week's predictions.
It's the Leicester Till I Die Premier League Prediction Show with Chris, Brad, and regular special guest, ex-Leicester City player Steve Lynex.
Like and subscribe now.
Yes, and my whisper joke is about as good as they will get. If you expect anything better, you are going to be very, very disappointed. Well, it's nice to be back, and we'll bring the guests in. First of all, say good evening to Brad. Hello, sir. How the devil are you? Hello? Can you hear me?
I'm all right, Chris. How are you?
How are Houston, we can hear you. I'm not so. It's lovely to see you. I tell you what, it's nice to have you. So much better than that guest we had on earlier. Oops, I don't know what you're doing. We'll bring Steve in. Good evening, Steve. How are you?
Hey boys, I'm fine, thank you.
Good. I'm not sure whether Brad's with us or not with us at the moment. Can you hear us, Brad?
It looks like he's being attacked by a cat.
After the recent shows I've done, let's not go there. Brad, can you hear us? Hello? No, he did actually confidently say earlier that he had got his Wi-Fi back in his bedroom, and he doesn't. Brad, you are in and out like a. Well, let's not go there, eh?
I give up, mate. I give up.
Oh, a bit late. Just say hello. I want to say thanks for earlier for Ant becoming a new bronze member. How are you doing? Mike, buzzing for this. Big up Steve, Chris and Brad. Cheers, Mike. Said it is a bit darker than usual. I know. I just don't get it. Maybe my beauty is shining through so much. Scott, hello, Stephen, Brad, and Chris. Hope you're all well. We are indeed. And well, as soon as Mike's in, I think we've got to play this for him. Dick Paradise or Rod Fanny?
The correct answer is Rod Fanny. He used to play for Marseille.
Oh,
yeah.
You know your Fanny.
Right. Oh, yes.
I tell you what, Steve, there's 2 hours of that. If anybody wants to go on to Leicester Till I Die, go down to the quiz heading and look at Reece versus Mike. There is let's just say that was one of the clean bits I could use. But
I couldn't have got away with that.
Yeah, I know. We know we've still got the one of you saying you hate Tottenham and Arsenal. That's never going to go away. But
I don't mind that one.
Scott says my prediction is Perez starts up front. Well, I tell you what, Brad, you still with us? Yes, he's moving. I think Brad knows what's coming. Do you remember Steve? He always used to say how he was top of the league and how, you know, he was confident and he wasn't worried about anybody catching him up. Well, you know, be careful what you wish for, because let's just have a look. Let's just scroll down here. Oh, look. Brad on 96, Chris on 98, Steve on 87. Brad, your crown is slipping, sir.
Yeah, I suppose that's what I get, don't I, for being so smug about it. But I knew it'd happen eventually. I did always fear that. Although I must say, I don't know about you, Chris. I mean, I've heard rumours that the Steve Lynex FC are very gutted to hear that Steve's back this week because their interim manager's got him more points than he usually gets.
That to you, Steve.
I did better for you. I did better for you, mate, than I did over 2 weeks for myself. So I've really lost the plot. So you're next to take my spot, mate.
He did, in fairness. But there we go. So, I mean, looking at some of those results there, I mean, what a week. I mean, you know, who would have thought that Chelsea would have beaten Crystal Palace? Oh, me. I would have thought that. Who would have thought Southampton would have beat Everton? Oh, me. I would have thought that. But all joking aside, and I'm going to suffer now. I know I'm blowing my own trumpet. There were some weird results, wasn't there, Steve?
Oh, yeah. That's football, isn't it?
It is. It is. I mean, just a very quick question, because we had a show earlier which was sort of basically a Brendan in or out discussion. Do you think Leicester should stick with him?
I think so. I think, like you said before, it's either the manager or the players. I thought when I watched the game, I thought Leicester were a lot better attacking-wise. I thought they started putting some good moves together, which they hadn't been doing for the previous weeks. But you've still got to look at the defence.
Yeah.
It is a problem, and I think it's not going to go away until he makes 2 or 3 changes, either to the players or to the system, because you can't carry on doing the same thing. You can't keep
voice of reason. The voice of reason, Steve.
As if the system's not right, and you can't vice versa. You know what I mean? You can't blame the system if the players are not right, and it's just trying to get the blend together. I think he should really try something new now. And
I think he's going to have a good result this weekend, isn't he? Because we're not playing, so he can't.
Can't lose at the weekend if you're not playing. I like
exactly. But on to this week's games, and we're going to start first of all with Southampton versus Norwich. Norwich got what we thought they would do against Liverpool last week. It wasn't a surprise. The surprise was the fact that they went 1-0 up at the start, to be honest with you. Southampton, they're up to 10th. They're above us. and by 5 points. They've won 2 in the last 5. They beat Tottenham. Well done, lads. And, of course, they beat Everton 2-0 at the weekend. Which do you think, Steve? Southampton at home, or are Norwich going to come back and get... in fairness, Norwich have actually won 2 of the last 5, but can you see them making it 3?
No, I can't. The momentum's with Southampton now. That's going to carry them on a bit. They're getting a lot of good results. They're getting a good performance from all the players rather than just a few individuals. I think the team is starting to gel. And it's been refreshing watching them the last few games. So I think Southampton.
You're going for Southampton, right? Let's just put that in there. Let me. I'd be good if I prepared for this show, wouldn't it? One time I will, I will do that. Mike is actually saying, "Are there any midweek games next week?" Is that me with the music? No, it's gone. It's gone. Whatever it was, it's the music on here is not very good anyway. But Mike is the only person that could agree to do a quiz and then double book himself with his own team's match in Europe. And he's gone as Brad. So, Mike, I don't know if Manchester United are playing next week. I would have hoped you did. I agree. Well, hopefully we'll get Brad back. Maybe he's moved in his house. But I've got to agree with you, Steve. Yeah, Norwich. I mean, it's still very tight down the bottom, as bad as that sounds. But what Burnley dragged themselves off. But I just think Southampton are going about their work very quietly, very neatly, and I think Ralph is a good manager. And somebody said to me the other day, would I take Ralph at Leicester? And the honest answer is yes, I would. And I think he will move on soon. Sorry, Southampton fans, but I'm going to agree with you and go for a Southampton win on that. So let me just put myself in there. Is it going to work? Here we go. There we go. And we'll try and get Brad's later if he comes back in.
I think talking about that one, and you look at the Southampton manager, he was going through a bad patch and everybody wanted him out. And I think that's how you start to judge the managers now of how they get out of the bad patches.
Yes.
The thing that's against Brendan Rodgers at the moment is his bad patch seems to be lasting quite long. And it's not until you see an improvement in how he gets out of it that you can say that he's still got it and he's a really good manager. So
it is, and I think, to be as I said this with Rodgers, I can't. He doesn't use it as an excuse, so maybe we shouldn't use it as an excuse. But he has had horrendous injuries. 9 defenders in all this season have been injured. Not all at the same time, obviously, but there's a lot of them were. And as I think it was Clinton Morrison said on the BBC after the Wolves game, judge a manager when he's got his full team available, and then see how he does. But yeah, like you say, you can, clubs can get rid of managers too quickly. Look at, say Ralph twice has lost 9-0, and he's still there. And talking about being still there, Brad, you back?
Yeah, I am. Sorry about that.
That's okay, sir. We'll just fill in airtime till you came back. Southampton, Norwich. We both gone for Southampton.
Then I'm going to be different. I'm going to go for a draw.
Oh, Scott went for a draw, to be honest with you. Gaps on. Right, there we go. Scott went for the draw. Mike went for the 2-1 win to Southampton. I won't add you on if you don't mind, Mike, because it will just confuse Matt, because he did a little bit last week with Dan, but we actually had Dan on screen. Next game, Leeds United versus Tottenham. Tottenham seem to like to play until the 100th minute, and they only seem to start playing sort of 85 minutes onwards. I know which way you're going to go, Steve, but I am contractually obliged to ask you anyway. It's the Saturday morning game. Obviously, the Southampton game was on Friday. Leeds Can you see them getting anything, or do you think Tottenham are going to leave with the 3 points?
I think it's the same scenario as Burnley. You're going through a bad patch. Leeds haven't been as bad as Burnley, but it's what Leeds team turns out again. They can either be good or they can either, be poor. There's no in between. Hopefully Tottenham will get carried away with their good result or the last couple of good results, and they'll shoot themselves in the foot. But I'm hoping that Leeds, the proper Leeds, turn up and smash them.
We would expect nothing less of you, Steve. When you were able to make it, that was 2 games that we were determined. We knew that we could predict right for you in your choices. So, yep, you're going to go, I say, for a Leeds win. I mean, Tottenham, Brad, you know my feelings towards Tottenham. I mean, they did it again against Manchester City, and they do say you need a little bit of luck to win, but they're getting it in spades, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but you could also argue at points that they probably merited it over the majority of the game to earn that luck. It's not just gifted to you. But it just all depends on what Spurs turn up. If the Spurs that turn up and play like that against Man City, then they'll coast it. It's Leeds, but do I see Leeds causing an upset? I'd like to, but I just don't. So for that reason, I am just gonna say a Tottenham win. I feel horrible saying it.
Yeah, Steve, we'll never speak to you again now.
Sorry, Steve.
Mike has gone 3-1 Tottenham, as indeed has Spurs. Sorry, as indeed has Scott. Sorry, Scott, just changing in there. I mean, I'm very much with you, Steve. But it is Leeds, and do you know what? I'm going to be a bit different. I was going to go for a Tottenham win, to be honest with you. I mean, Brad's going to try and be different to try and grab the points back, I know. Do I go for a draw or do I go for a Tottenham win? Ooh, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, Leeds, what are they doing? So they've lost to Man United. They lost to Everton. They've not won since they beat West Ham. No, I'm sorry, Steve. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I'm going to have to go for Tottenham with Brad.
I like playing against London clubs.
Yes. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. You're still welcome. If you don't want to come on, I understand now. I might give it you back when we get to. I don't think Arsenal are playing either. Oh, that's all right then, Steve. You get away with that one. Arsenal aren't turning up either. Brentford against Newcastle. 2 teams going in opposite directions here. Eddie Howe's finally got it together at Newcastle, and he's got a few wins under his belt now. They've won 3. Well, they've not lost in 5. Then that's the thing. They drew with Watford, which they should have beat. They beat the aforementioned Leeds, beat Everton, beat Villa, and then obviously drew with West Ham, which probably wasn't a bad result for them. Brentford drawn 1 in 5. They're just on a losing streak. I hope Brentford stay up. I really do, but I am getting a bit worried. But for me, I'm actually going to go for a Newcastle win for him. I think Eddie Howe is turning it round, and has he bought it? But then, if that was us, we'd say the same, wouldn't we?
Newcastle, there's only one way for them now. I can't see them getting any worse than they were. They've had their bad patch. They're getting the confidence, and they're grinding the results out. They're not playing fantastic football, but they're grinding the games out. And I think that's going to carry them through the momentum of the next few games. Brentford really struggling. I think you look at the manager there; he's got to start changing and doing something different, because you can't carry on all the way through the season like he has been doing.
No.
And I think the players look a bit lost and downhearted. So yeah, Newcastle. I'm going to go for a Newcastle win as well.
Yeah. Just a quick call out there for Simon. Thanks for popping in, Simon. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And to be honest with you, I did say to Brad before, Jason actually put his point across very well for the Brenda now. And I've known Jason a while, and he's a fair bloke. And he did give us an honest answer, and he put it across very well. Arsenal were due to play Liverpool, same reasons as us. Mike's gone Brentford 1, Newcastle 0. Scott's jumping ahead of me there just to confuse me. Scott, what did you go for this one? Oh, you went Newcastle 2-0 for this one. Brad, which way are you going to jump this one? Have we lost you again, Brad?
No.
Oh. Earth calling Brad. Don't do that to us.
Yeah, sorry. Brentford Newcastle games, because I think all they've done is chuck some cheap jewellery over the turd Newcastle, and hope they're praying it is going to do enough to get them out of relegation trouble. And I'm not convinced by it. I'm still not convinced by it. Problem is Brentford, and just as unconvincing right now. They can't seem to stop that run. I thought they had it, but they find themselves in bad form again. But I would rather see Brentford get the win here and pull themselves further away from danger than I do Newcastle. It's kind of becoming like my Spurs to Steve Lynex, what it is to Steve Lynex up there. So I'm going to go for a Brentford win.
Oh, okay. Which of us will be the first one to reach 100, Brad? Now, I come on. I mean, in fairness to Newcastle, I know what you're saying. Maybe they are throwing a bit of jewellery on the turd, but they may be just signing players to do that first stage and keep them up, and they can afford to do that, and then.
So Newcastle, they're starting to gel as a team, and I think if you think that there's, like a lot of people say they're going to buy the way out of it, I'd rather have 16 players than one individual. And I think if we can carry on the way he's doing, that is Newcastle's escape by getting the whole team to gel together. Because when you play a team that's solid and they're playing together, they are hard to beat. And then you find that with the top 6 teams, you're playing individuals in the Tottenham's teams, in your Chelsea teams, and that's why it's so up and down. But if Newcastle can get the nucleus of 7 or 8 players playing together, that's what's happening now. That's what will take them forward.
Indeed, and thank you, Scott, for noticing that. This is it. You see, two shows in the night. I can't do it. Let me just put Brad in there. There we go. Now, Brighton on to Aston Villa. We'll come to Brad first with this one because he has to now start saying that Graham Potter is the new Messiah for various reasons. He's got to stick up for Brighton. But Brad, I mean, Graham Potter, he's going to start pulling his miracles out and be the good manager that he is, isn't he?
Well, they need a response after Burnley, don't they? I mean, that was probably the shock of the weekend.
Yes.
In terms of the manner of the defeat as well, Brighton suffered. But being as we're talking about Potter, the magic's wearing off on Steven Gerrard's, Premiership return. Seems like the last time he did anything, when he bottled it with Liverpool, he seemed to now bottle the mentor with Villa. They're on a bit of dogged form, if memory serves right. They're not doing as well as they did when they first started. It seems like that magical effect of a new manager bounce has worn off, and now we're seeing what he's really made of. So this could be the worst game that Brighton could have at home, in a sense, to kind of go up against to try and bounce back, because Villa are just as desperate to get a win to get their season a bit more under control than it has been recently. But I have to overrule the fact that a win for Brighton puts them probably at the same or further, potentially ahead of Leicester, even more than they are. And they're probably the team we've got to look at to kind of close the gap on first before anything this season. I think they are going to get the win. But it's going to be a close game. I was tempted to actually put this down as a draw, but I'm going to stick with Brighton.
Steve, Villa only won 1 in 5, and that was against Everton. They've lost the last 2. They lost to Newcastle. They must have just played Newcastle because they lost to them 2 games ago. And they lost to... No, what am I saying? No, I'm getting my games mixed up. They lost to Newcastle 2 games ago, and they lost to Watford in the week. So they're losing to teams that really they should be, beating. They've made a couple of signings, a couple of good signings, in fairness. And Villa, but Brighton, they've lost the last 2 as well. Man United and to Burnley. Is this the one where Brighton turn it round?
I think this one will be a draw. I think the England centre-half disease that's going around, I think it's definitely got Maguire, but I think it's got Mings as well. I think watching the last few games, Mings has been a liability for Villa. He's made a lot of mistakes. I think he's not as solid as he used to be before. And I don't know if it's the arrogance of I'm untouchable, I can, play the normal way, but he's cost Villa a lot of things over the last few games, and I think he's starting to be a bit of a liability, and I think that's where they've been shooting themselves in the foot.
Yes.
So Brighton, I think they're going to just keep on playing the way they are. They do need a result, but I think this one will be a draw.
You're going for a draw here, Steve. I'm actually going to agree with Brad. I think I'm going to look at this and thinking who's going to turn it around more, Potter or Gerrard. I'm surprised. I thought Gerrard would be doing better, but I am going to agree with Brad, and I am going to go for a Brighton win here. Munzie, he predicts Leicester and Rodgers will bottle it again. Coming from a Man United fan, I'm not sure. If we're talking about bottling it, I think Man United are owning the Pepsi Cola rights, aren't they? They can't even get a manager in. They have to bring in a temporary manager till the end of the season, Munzie. I love you, really. Right. Crystal Palace, Burnley. Steve, we'll stick with you first for this one. Burnley, obviously, off the bottom now. It's very tight there. You've got Norwich on 17, Burnley on 17, Watford on 18. It was only the second win of the season for Burnley, but it was 3-0. It was a convincing win against a team that we thought were going to beat them, Brighton, and they're up against a Palace side who haven't really shown, I don't think, their full potential. The Vieira magic seems to have sort of gone off a little bit, and again, they haven't won in the last 5.
There again, you're looking at a high-profile manager that likes to change his tactics all the time. He likes to be playing negative. Palace have lost their attacking threat. Palace used to start, go for the throat. They're starting to play it more cautiously now, play it around the park, keeping hold of the ball. And they're not as potent as they was at the beginning of the season. Now, on the other hand, now Burnley's got a great result. Burnley's going to slog it out. And I think Burnley's going to take it to the next level now on this one and get 2 or 3 good runs. So I'm going to go for a Burnley win on this one.
A Burnley win. Which way do you see it, Brad? Not forgetting that Dan only lives up the road from you and can easily nip down and put your windows in.
I'll try and give probably as close to a Dan response as possible on this one. It's kind of, big win, clean sheet, off the bottom. For Burnley, everything's coming up Millhouse. It's the cards are in. They've got the royal flush at the right time. Burnley, this is the result. You kind of almost were getting to a point of saying they needed a scrappy 1-0 win would have still survived, but to come with such a boost of a big victory and to get a clean sheet is even more interesting. You think they're going to go at this Crystal Palace side, who, like Steve said, have just lost that cutting edge up front. It's almost like we made the right decision with the right £20-odd million striker to bring in. I feel like maybe Palace are just Palace. You know, they're finding where they belong, which is about 13th, 12th position where they usually finish. With the greatest respect of what they've got as a squad, it seems to be that's what they've reached as their goal. They maybe need a bit more added quality to become a side that pushes on a bit further, it seems. And with that in mind, I think Burnley, nick it. I really do. I think they ride a bit of a wave now that we bring crashing down to earth when we play them, hopefully. He says nervously, thinking about that now, predicting a Burnley win.
I know.
But I think they maybe get a bit of a boost and then swiftly back down to earth by Leicester.
I'm going to agree with you both there. I think it was the manner in which Burnley won. Dan is going to be pissed off with this because the weekend, I've always said that Burnley are going to get a draw, or they can go in to get this and turn those draws they've been getting into wins. And every time I do that, they lose. And I predicted Brighton to beat them, and they won. So Dan has begged me to keep going for Burnley to lose every game, but I need the points just as much as Burnley do. So I am actually going for a Burnley win. I think Palace are out of form at the moment. They can't seem to get the points in. And Burnley, like you say, it was the manner in which they won. They got a good striker, by all accounts, in Weghorst. And I think that's going to give them confidence. And like I say, I just hope that they don't carry that confidence on to the next week. And of course, the bad news is that I will be doing a watch along with Dan for the Leicester Burnley game, so that probably means we're going to lose it as well. Jason, good evening. Welcome back, sir. Crystal Palace will start strong. They're such irritating team, but they will push our defence. No set pieces were not great at. I think you're going. You're ahead. You're on to Burnley there, but Man United, Watford, Steve. Who would have known Watford last week would have got that win? Man United annoyingly won 4-2 because I had it as a draw. They're sat in fourth at the moment. And in fairness, all respect to Munzie, they've not lost in 5. They've beaten West Ham 1-0. They drew with Burnley. They drew with Southampton. And those are probably 2 games that they should have won. But they did beat Brighton. And, of course, they did a very good job over Leeds at Ellen Road. And Watford, they've won 1 in 5, which was the 1-0 win over Villa. One-way traffic, this, isn't it?
There again, you don't know with the Watford team when they play away. They're a different.
Said that last time, didn't we? And we laughed at Steve.
They're a different side when they're playing away. Watford, Man United, they've got the results when they shouldn't have got the results. So they're getting a bit of luck now that they didn't have before. But I want Watford to do it. I want Watford to win. So on that reason, not on form or whatever, because I don't think the form tells you they're going to win, but I'm going to go for them.
Yeah, for Watford. Brad?
Say it again. We laughed at Steve last time, and look what happened. But I don't know. Manchester United have this habit of just starting to tick and then bang, a shot loss or a draw. But I think they're slightly better when they've got the crowd supporting them, and they've had a few good results recently, especially the Leeds one. That pleased a lot of Manchester United fans with the way they managed to get the mental back and turn that game back into a winning one. I think they've got too much for Roy Hodgson. I'm not sure what their record is when they've come up against a Roy Hodgson side. It's probably fantastic to watch me be completely wrong and Steve's a genius again. But I'm going to say a Manchester United win. I just think they've got too much about them to not win that one second time around.
I mean, I look at Manchester United this season, and they're basically doing a Leicester. You know, they're not doing what they should be doing for the players that they've got, and they've had to get an interim manager in because the manager they want, or possibly, you know, after can't join them till the end of the season. I mean, come on, this is Man United. They should be able to sort it out. That said, regular viewers to my channel will know my feelings towards Watford and Norwich, and that basically is, and I'm sorry, Steve, but Watford, you're taking up somebody's place. You know, you come up, you sit in 12th, you sack your manager. It hasn't worked for you before. It won't work for you this season. I just want Watford to go down, disappear from everybody's memory for a few seasons, decide what they want to do, and then come back and do it properly. Because at the moment, they are denying another team the chance to play in the Premier League. You know, there's nobody, I think, as a club that sacks the manager when you sat in 12th with about 4 or 5 games gone, and then appoint somebody who the season before couldn't keep Fulham in the division, and you thought, oh, it's a good idea, let's appoint Ranieri. And then that's gone, and you've brought in Roy Hodgson, who's almost coming onto the pitch in his bath chair, to be honest with you. And, you know, you even when you've got a decent manager like Nigel Pearson in, you sack him with 3 games to go when he's just got you out the bottom 3. And guess what? You got relegated. So, Watford, I want you to lose. Please, Man United, put 4 or 5 past them. Put us all out of our misery and send them back where they belong. And hopefully they won't come up for a few seasons, and they will give us all a break from their stupidity. Sorry, Steve, but I am going for a United win. Mike says Hodgson beaten his last 2 games against us, Brad, 2-1 and 3-1.
I didn't know that, but like I said, there you go. There's facts. I didn't know them, so Steve's going to get an easy win from this, ain't you, Steve? Well done, Chris. We've done it again.
Every team loves to beat Ronaldo. That is very true, Dorco. Very true indeed. Man, Mike, I hope it's more than that, to be honest with you. I really do. Let's put the first nail in those coffins. Talking about nails in coffins, we're coming on to Everton and Man City. And, I mean, Scott's called this one early. Everton 1, Man City 7. I mean, I don't know about that, but Everton, you know, last 5, you know, they beat Leeds 3-0. They lost to Norwich, for God's sake. They lost to Villa. They lost to Newcastle, but you know, and they just lost to Southampton. I mean, Man City, we know how they're doing. They've got to come back after that Tottenham blow. Again, the Frank Lampard, everybody was shouting, oh, we want Frank Lampard at Leicester. Do we? This is only going to go one way, isn't it, Steve?
No. I think Everton will raise the game against Man City. I think if you look at the game against Tottenham, I think Everton are going to look at that and think, well, if Tottenham can do it and play the way they did, you know, why can't we? And I think it's on a purely football basis, I want Man City to lose because I don't want the season to be over this early. I want it to carry on where, you know, other teams have got a chance there and make it interesting. So purely on that basis, I'm going to go for Everton.
There you go, you see. There I am being put in my place by an ex-player. How can I argue with that? But then again, I do look at Steve's prediction scores and think, yeah, maybe I can argue with that. Sorry, Steve. I don't want the season to be over, and I want Liverpool to give them a good fight. But I don't think this is one that Man City will have much trouble with. But yeah, I agree with totally what you say. I don't want to see. I want Liverpool to get close and give us a bit of a battle, but I'm going to have to go for Man City because I can't see other than. Don't want it to be a 9-0, Mike, because that way our record will have to be shared again. Brad, 1 each there for Everton and Man City.
Yeah, well, this is going to be fun because Frank Lampard's currently proven he's got the same managerial nous as Steve Bruce. In my opinion, he's not been great. He had one boost against Brentford, who, in all seriousness, given the way their season's going, were probably not too arsed about getting knocked out of the cup. Probably annoyed at the scoreline, but probably weren't too arsed. Survival was the keyest thing for them. And all it's done is probably give Everton a bit more of a thing they have to worry about, another game they've got to play. And, now you're at a stage where you think, well, now I can't put out the kids and get thrown under the bus in the result because that'll do us no good. And now he's put them in a situation. I don't think they're in great form. And you don't want to go after Man City after they've suffered a loss like that against Spurs. I think it's going to be a rout. So, Man City.
Yeah. Let me just add you in then, sir. Having said that, this is the season, as we all know, that anything can happen.
Yeah.
And Everton will probably come out 3-0 winners or something. Just be like that, and Steve to get the point. Last game then, because there's only 8 games, because of course we have got Chelsea, Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. We won't predict it, but we'll have a quick chat in a second about that. West Ham United. You look at them, they're in 5th now. Lost, won, drawn. Lost, won, drawn. Their last 5. Wolves, well, we know they won the last one. They've won 4 out of 5, and their only loss in the last 5 was to Arsenal. I think Wolves didn't play well against us, and I'll give their fans credit for actually coming on and saying that they didn't and that we should have won. But I think Wolves can have a good push for Europe. Again, for me, Wolves are going one way, West Ham are going the other way, and I'm going to have to go for a Wolves win on this occasion. Would you agree, Steve?
I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. I think Wolves will make it a low-scoring game because the way they play. West Ham, not as potent at home as they were in their recent start of the good run. So on this one, I can see this one being a draw.
You're going for a draw. This is the first week I haven't gone for any draws, I think. Brad?
I'm actually straight off in agreement with Steve on this one. West Ham Wolves, both having good seasons, one on slightly better form than the other. But I think the way they kind of clash with each other, Wolves play a very low line between their midfield and defence. The defence is quite far back. They push out and try and do it quickly if they're going to do anything, whereas West Ham like to be on the front foot. Probably kind of mirror the Leicester Wolves game in a sense of, West Ham will be the team on the front foot more, but Wolves will hold that ball well when they have it. But they'll get to a point where West Ham won't. They'll try and make sure they don't lose it, and Wolves will make sure they stay in it. And if it's 0-0 at 1-1 by that stage, that's how it's going to end. So I'm going to say that both teams come away with a point from this game, and it will be a draw.
Right. So that's quite an even spread there. Basically, nobody thinks Norwich will get anything, or Aston Villa this weekend, or indeed Crystal Palace. Apart from that, it's a bit of a mix in there. So it would be interesting to see. Now, as I say, not only am I taking over on Brad on this, I'm also leading in the Turf Moorhouse prediction, the Burnley prediction one as well. So on Friday, Brad, I'm coming for you again. I'm leading that one as well,
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I am. Only just, I would say only just, but we started it late. So that's next week's football. I think we're going to have a good weekend because we are not playing. But of course, there is the big match, the first final of the season, although Chelsea will probably tell you that was the World Club Championship. League Cup. It's funny. I can remember, Steve, when Martin O'Neill was doing his bit for them for Leicester and winning that these big clubs weren't interested. Now it's a definite way of getting into Europe, isn't it?
Yeah, you hear them whinging about all through the season about how many games they're playing and some cup competitions are no good and that. But like you say, as it gets towards the end and they're in the last 10, the last 5, the last 6, the last 1, they're in the final, everything changes and their attitude changes, saying, oh, it's a great cup and all this and whatever. But is it good to be in Europe all the time? I don't know. I don't think so, because, you're going about injuries, you're going about how many games you play. But for the big clubs, you have to get trophies. So, that's how they look at it, I think.
Yeah. And Brad, there, but for the grace of God, could have been us, I guess.
Yeah, it could have. But the thing that just made me laugh is, these cup competitions are always only Mickey Mouse Cups when you're out of them, aren't they? It's funny how the mantra does change when your team's in the final. I think the League Cup goes quite underappreciated a little bit. Kind of like a superstar does outside the top 6. I feel the League Cup doesn't get the respect it deserves. It is a trophy at the end of the day. It holds a lot of meaning behind winning of it, because you get Europe from it. I mean, I've never understood the mantra. Even if you're a team that's accustomed to Champions League football, surely if you're having a bad season and you still find a way to make Europe, it's a good thing. I don't understand these fans that sometimes look at cup competitions, European or the Carabao Cup or the League Cup as it's traditionally known as, why it's just given such a dim view, because it's a good competition. And there's clubs out there that may never win a cup as high as that, let alone get bored of winning one.
Yeah. Well, looking at it, and I love the fact I've just noticed that Steve has got a description of himself behind there, dark, delicious, and hot. Yes, I don't quite know how to. I hope it was your wife that wrote it.
Trying to tell me something, I think.
Yeah. I hadn't noticed that before. I love it. Which way do you see this going, Steve? Chelsea or Liverpool's way?
I think Liverpool will win it. I think they're the team that go for the cup games, especially the final stages and that. But football's football. It's what who turns up on the day and who wins. But I think Liverpool have got the pedigree. I think Chelsea have they've had their big European games this year, so I don't think it'll be bother too much. But Liverpool are hungry at the moment. They want to try and win everything. Chelsea, I think, are just being grateful that they're in every cup things, and and I think that's where Liverpool will do it because they want it more.
So one for Liverpool there, Brad?
I don't care.
I know you don't care, but you've got to pick one.
0-0 at full time, 0-0 at extra time. They all miss 5 penalties. The referee gives up and splits the trophy with them.
No, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. No.
Oh.
This is the prediction show, after all.
You know what? Jurgen Klopp can finally have his open top boss. Let's give it Liverpool.
Oh, two to Liverpool. And I think, to be honest with you, I'm going to make it 3. I think Liverpool will nick it. I think it will be a close game. Like Mike has said, it's going to be a tactical game. But I do see Liverpool coming out. Scott says New Brad would say penalties. Scott says problem with the domestic cup nowadays is financially they're not as rewarding as places in the Premier League and European football. And I say Mike says tactical final between 2 great coaches at good clubs with good depth and a low scoring final. Indeed. So we're all going to think that Liverpool are going to win it. So thanks very much, guys. A shorter one this week because we've only got the 8 games. Like we say, come on, Leicester. We know you're not going to lose this weekend. So, and we get a clean sheet because we're not playing. So for the first time, it's
no, Chris. Chris just got some news. I just got some news. They're still going to. Yeah. Leicester still managed to concede from a corner at the weekend, though. That's one thing that always
happens. This is true. Like you say, maybe we should change our sponsors to Muller Corner.
Maybe.
Steve, thank you very much, mate. Thanks for coming on as always. Next week, I think the predictions are going to be 9 o'clock on Thursday, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because we're playing Burnley on the Tuesday, and it all gets a bit complicated. So, I'm not looking forward to that one. But we've got Burnley on Tuesday. So, thank you very much for coming on, Steve. Appreciate it as always, and you giving your time. And stay safe, and all the best to you and all your family.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. See you next
Thanks
one.
so much, Dave. Take care, mate. Bye-bye. Dark, what was it? Dark something and I don't know what it said now. I've got to bring you back in. He's gone. I'm putting him back in to read it, but there we go.
No, I'm not going to say it.
No.
I'm not being a fool for it. I'm not falling for the games.
Mike's hoping for Chelsea, but that's because he's a Man United fan and he doesn't like Liverpool, of course. 1958 was a good year.
Was that?
I've got to be honest with you, Dorco. I thought tyres were a good year. Oh, that was bad. Thanks, guys. That's it for another week. We'll be back. We're back tomorrow. We've got the Randers review with Craig at 7. We've got the Craig Doug quiz. Mike, I'm afraid, who did double book himself with his own team's games. You don't know when your own team games are. What can I say? Mike? Is this a typical Man United fan, Brad, do you think?
Sorry, what was that, mate?
I said, not knowing when your own team plays. Do you think that's a typical Man United?
Yeah, these days it is.
Yeah. Be careful here, Mike. Be careful. Stripped of his title challenge because he couldn't defend it, but he will be back, in all fairness. He will be back later in the season. And then, of course, we've got the match on Thursday. Europe, Randers, 4-1 ahead. Surely we can't cock this up. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that, should I? I shouldn't have said that.
People flip it for when we lose.
Yeah, you'll blame me now, won't you? Brad, thank you very much. I'll see you post-match on Thursday. Thanks for doing both shows tonight. You're a star, as always. If you want to follow Brad, his contacts are in the in the description below on YouTube. Thanks, Brad. Take care, mate. Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon, mate. Cheers for having us on.
Cheers. Thanks for coming on, mate.
All right.
Mike, I'm ignoring that. I am tempted to actually put you on a timeout for that. Randers' leading striker will be back in the team. To be honest with you, I think if we get the first goal, it's over. I do honestly think it's over. But Mike, don't say that, please. I say I'm going to have to block you if you say that again. I don't care. I don't have favourites, mate. Please, though, for me, would you please do this?
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Indeed, I will see you tomorrow at 7 for the Randers review and at 9 for the quiz. Stay safe, and remember, as I always say, don't do anything I wouldn't enjoy. Good night.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open.
for all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise.
Visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website. Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
That's all, folks.